Welcome to our YouTube channel, where we travel back through time to uncover the lost chapters of human civilization. From the dawn of our species to the rise and fall of great empires, every story we tell brings us closer to understanding who we truly are. Today, we're stepping into a world that existed thousands of years before modern nations or technology. A world where humanity took its first step toward building something extraordinary, the very first city in human history. Imagine a time when there were no cities, no countries, and no rulers. Humans were wanderers, moving from place to place in search of food, shelter, and survival. They lived in small groups, depending on hunting and gathering to stay alive. But slowly, something began to change. People discovered farming. They learned how to plant seeds, grow crops, and tame animals. This discovery didn't just give them food, it gave them stability. And from stability, the dream of permanent living places began. It was in this ancient shift from wandering tribes to settled communities that the first spark of urban life was born. In the fertile lands between two great rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, humans found paradise. These rivers made the land rich and fertile, allowing villages to grow into towns. And eventually, one town rose above all others. That town would become Uruk, the very first city in the world, and the beginning of civilization itself. Uruk stood in what is now modern-day Iraq, in a region known as Mesopotamia, meaning the land between rivers. It was founded around 4500 BCE, over 6,000 years ago. What began as a small farming settlement slowly transformed into a vast city of temples, markets, and homes. As the years passed, Uruk became a center of innovation, faith, and trade, a place where human creativity reached a new level never seen before. The people of Uruk didn't just live together, they built together. Their homes were made from sun-dried mud bricks, shaped carefully by hand. The city was surrounded by a huge defensive wall, stretching nearly 6 miles long. Ancient legends say this wall was built by the mighty king Gilgamesh, a ruler so powerful that his story became one of the oldest written tales in history. Inside those walls, thousands of lives moved in rhythm, each person part of a growing civilization. At the heart of Uruk stood something magnificent, the ziggurat of Inanna, a temple dedicated to the goddess of love, war, and fertility. This wasn't just a place to pray, it was the very soul of the city. Priests performed rituals, citizens offered gifts, and leaders made decisions under the eyes of the gods. The temple stood tall above the city like a mountain of mud and brick, a symbol of both faith and power that defined Uruk's greatness. But Uruk's most revolutionary creation wasn't its temples or walls, it was writing. To manage trade and farming, the people of Uruk invented the world's first writing system, cuneiform. They pressed wedge-shaped marks into clay tablets to record transactions, crops, and supplies. Over time, these symbols evolved into words, sentences, and stories. For the first time in history, human thoughts could be preserved forever. Through writing, Uruk became the birthplace of recorded history. People wrote about their gods, their kings, and their daily lives. The written word turned memory into knowledge and knowledge into power. Because of these simple clay tablets, we can still read their stories today, stories that shaped our understanding of the ancient world. Uruk was also a city of trade and economy. Its location near the rivers allowed it to become a powerful trading hub. Merchants traveled from distant lands to buy and sell goods, copper from the mountains, timber from the forests, and precious stones from faraway deserts. Every street echoed with the sounds of markets, bargains, and laughter. Uruk had become a place where the world came to exchange not only goods, but ideas. Inside the city, daily life was vibrant. Farmers brought their crops to sell, potters crafted delicate clay jars, and artisans decorated the walls of temples with beautiful carvings. The people of Uruk created art, music, and myths that celebrated both their gods and their achievements. Each home was small but filled with pride, proof that humanity had finally found comfort in community. The government of Uruk was one of the earliest examples of organized leadership. Priests, officials, and kings all played their roles in maintaining order. Taxes were collected, laws were made, and armies were raised to protect the city. For the first time in history, humans had built not just a home, but a system, a society, and a civilization. Religion was at the center of everything. The people of Uruk believed their gods controlled every part of life, the floods, the harvests, and the fate of the city itself. They offered food, prayers, and sacrifices to please them. These beliefs gave the people unity, purpose, and strength, binding them together in a shared destiny under divine protection. But Uruk was not alone for long. Its success inspired other settlements nearby, Eridu, Lagash, and Kish, to rise and follow its example. Together, these cities formed the Sumerian civilization, the world's first network of city-states. Each city had its own ruler, army, and god, but all of them shared a single goal: to build, to grow, and to survive. As centuries passed, Uruk continued to expand. Canals were dug to bring water to distant fields. Roads connected villages, and writing evolved to record laws, poetry, and even mathematics. The people of Uruk were shaping not just their city, they were shaping the future of humanity itself. Their discoveries in architecture, language, and governance would influence civilizations for thousands of years to come. One of Uruk's most legendary rulers was King Gilgamesh. His reign was so extraordinary that stories about him were passed down for generations. These tales became the Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest known piece of literature in human history. It told the story of a man's journey to find immortality, friendship, and meaning, themes that still move us today. However, no city lasts forever. Over time, Uruk's power began to fade. The rivers changed course, trade routes shifted, and new empires rose in neighboring lands. People slowly abandoned the once great city, leaving behind silent temples and crumbling walls. The desert winds covered Uruk's remains, burying its glory beneath layers of sand and time. For thousands of years, the memory of Uruk lived only in legends, until archaeologists rediscovered it in the 19th century. When they dug through the ancient soil, they uncovered clay tablets, pottery, and the ruins of the great ziggurat. What they found wasn't just a city, it was the birth certificate of civilization itself. Today, the ruins of Uruk stand as a silent witness to humanity's journey from survival to civilization. The same spirit that drove its people to build walls, write words, and dream of greatness still lives in every modern city. Uruk reminds us that progress began not with machines or money, but with imagination and unity. Every skyscraper, every marketplace, every written word we see today can trace its roots back to that ancient land between the rivers. Uruk was the seed from which all cities grew. Its people laid the foundation for law, art, and culture, the pillars upon which our modern world still stands. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through time. The story of Uruk is more than just history. It's a reminder of how far humanity has come and how much we can still achieve. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories from the past. See you in the next episode, where we continue our adventure through the ancient world.